Hey, this is Adasa, the voice of Dolores from Disney's Encanto, and you're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Rachel. And before I go, because I am the voice of Dolores, I gotta say, hey, grew to live in fear of Bruno stuttering and stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and mumbling. I associate him with the sound of falling sand. Stay tuned for more.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast.
They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libations.
Feel it, feel it.
We are artistic buffs and not artistic cream puffs. This is the show where every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us for this show. We discuss Iger's Q&A session at the 2024 MoffettNathanson Media, Internet, and Communications Conference. And look, this isn't your typical polished, practiced, pixie dust, and Disney podcast. No way. We are not in the parks every day letting you know about the new Yoo-Hoo bread from Oaken's OK Foods in the frozen kingdom of Fantasy Springs over there in Tokyo Disney Sea.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk some Disney, and tell you what we think of Bob Iger's comments.
Yeah, you listeners have the easy part. What you guys have to do is listen up to what we think up while we drink up.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And Rachel is out today, but we do have a special guest. Special guest, who are you?
It's me.
Who's you?
I'm sorry. What was my name again?
Chavez.
There's been too many crown rolls down my gullet so far. Yes, I am back, and I love being here.
In studio.
These guys are like in studio. These guys are family. Danny's my big brother. Eli's my bigger brother. And Kevin is
the concubine.
My pillow.
Oh, I'm fluffy like a pillow. I don't know.
Why is he bigger than me? This is a black thing?
Probably.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
It's all about, yeah.
I mean, it's probably accurate, but who knows?
If he was a betting man.
I put all my money on Eli.
There you go. Always bet on black, sir. Always. That's it.
So look, guys, real quick, I don't want to kill the hilarity here, but I want to take a moment real quick to talk about a listener of this show that we haven't heard from in a while. If you were ever in the Weekend Fantasy League, or if you're a real long-time listener, you may remember the name WPG. For those who don't remember, the best way I could describe WPG, you probably know him more as Eli's stalker.
Yes.
Periodically, he'd leave voicemails, and I guess we were using SpeakPipe at the time, wasn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, I believe it was SpeakPipe. Yeah, for those that have been around.
Well, he would leave voicemails professing his love and admiration for Eli. And guys, Eli is very appreciative of any love that he gets from the listeners. But even he would get a little bit creeped out when WPG would leave messages from outside of Eli's house.
Slightly flustered.
While we were recording, he would be talking about peeking into his windows and describing what Eli's house looked like in detail.
Yes.
Or he'd send us a message from the parking lot of a restaurant Eli was eating at and describing what Eli was wearing, or giving the license plate of his car, that kind of stuff, just to prove he was actually there. And during those moments, Eli, who's a very happy-go-lucky guy, would kind of lose his usual pleasant
Demeanor.
Yeah. Still, most of those messages kind of consisted of WPG serenading Eli in song in some kind of way, shape, or form. He would then proposition him.
Yeah.
So just to give you a kind of a taste of what WPG was like, let's listen to the last message he sent in for us. And this is back when he and Suarez and Teddy and Eduardo, the whole group of them, they all lived together in the quarter. They were headed to Disney for Gay Days. And he sent in this message for Eli.
I feel. That's just how I feel. Yeah, I hope you hear me, Eli. That's just how I feel. Ooh. Trying to reach the place that I can't see. Hey, guys. Well, it's that time of year. It's that time of year. That time of year when it's fun in Disney to be queer. We're heading on down. We're going to be going. It's always interesting, it's always interesting, and I wanted to, see if any of you guys want to join us. And Eli, come on, my boy. You want to talk about some craziness. Tens of thousands of gay men running around the parks of Disney, drunk and on all kind of drugs and horny. Wait till you get us in a dark amusement ride. The noises, it's like we take over. It's just like, you'll be it's a small world after all. And there's like, small world. Jesus, look at him. He's like 13 inches. He's as big as these kids, Yes, and it's really fun. And then, Peter Pan, obviously. We all know what Peter Pan is. It's a bunch of gay boys running around, getting chased by the older gay man with, the appendage strapped to his hand. It's just going to be so much fun. Well, I'm not going to bore you guys with any more, but we're going. Eli, I will pay for your flight. I will pay for your room, a suite at the Polynesian. I will pay for all of your food. I will pay for VIP park tickets. We're talking whatever you want. I will buy you a timeshare down there if you come. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. That's always been the goal, but I was, I took the hint. You weren't interested. At the time you weren't interested. I know I was slightly kind of a stalker. I was bordering on a stalker. Like if I took it any further, you might have been able to say, is that guy stalking Eli? I still make passes by your house. I still go by and, me and the security guards, it's still like, Bob, and they wink and like, go ahead, no problem. We won't report you peeking in the window with your pants down and blowing yogurt all over the side of Eli's wall while you're peeking in his window. Okay, guys. Well, take care. Eli, please call. It is... I'm doing what a lot of older gay men do with their money. I'm throwing it at you. It's called G for P. It's G for P. Go look it up. G4P if you don't know what that is. That's what I'm looking for from you. I know you're not going to be labeled as gay, okay? You're not going to be. It's a job. It's money. Okay, I'm going to do it, I've had dreams. I have literally had dreams. With you and me 69ing and you're on top and your black ass and balls are in my face just sitting on top of me. Very vivid. Very, very vivid. I can get into it if you guys want me to. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a great time. Eli, I'll be looking for your call. I will be looking any time of day, any hour of the day. Don't feel like you're going to upset me or wake me up. I don't care. I love you, baby. I want to be with you. I want to be in you. I want you to be in me. Well, okay. You guys have fun. The show's great. We love it. We love it.
So that was your typical WPG message. And look, this did not start a Magic Our Way. A long time ago, Eli, Kevin, and I, we did a different show. That really all this began on,
yeah.
and the messages were really salacious if you thought that was bad. And while Eli was pretty sure that WPG wasn't a real listener and just somebody that was messing with him,
Right.
he didn't know who it was, and it was driving him crazy. And there was a restaurant we used to frequent that Eli absolutely refused to go to on my birthday because he's like, dude, I'll catch you at another time. I'll do it. It's like, but I'm not going there because he suspected that one of the waiters there was WPG.
Nice.
So because this was really starting to affect Eli's psyche and we could never figure out a way to truly kind of wrap the WPG saga up, I eventually had to tell Eli the truth that WPG was a friend of ours from our non-Mohican fantasy league, although he did end up being in the Mohican fantasy league, named Ryan. And I don't think we've ever revealed that before, have we?
No.
Okay. So that was a longtime friend of ours named Ryan, who was the mind behind WPG. He had a talent for just doing voices. And when he did a voice, he really embodied the character. I mean, you could tell he would
He's
just
really
riff
good.
like that forever. And the voice was actually based on a real guy at one point in time that he met and knew, and he often imitated him off air.
But that was a new one for me. Just
Yes.
like
You didn't hear that one.
I had never heard that, so that's he got me.
But there was a bunch of voices. That was just kind of his go-to one, especially with you.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't just be a character nonstop and not break and not laugh.
While driving?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's
he
the
was
other
good.
thing.
Yeah, he was really, really good.
A song would come on. He would hear it. He would think of something in there that would make him think of a way to say Eli. And I mean, that's generally how just about every message started.
Mm-hmm.
And still to this day, there are songs on the radio. I'm trying to think of another one.
The
beyond.
OPP was.
Oh, you're down with WPG. Yeah, you know me. That was one of them for sure.
Yeah, you did do my name in that
The
one.
Reason Is You. That was another
right, we
one.
were singing that the other day.
Reason Is You.
I got a perfect person.
Needless to say, in our fantasy league, Eli and Ryan, they were kind of like arch nemesis, like Lex Luthor to Superman kind of deal. And they would just post stories about each other, making fun of each other on the fantasy website. But when the season was over, they'd still manage to be friendly with each other and bide their time until they could do it all over again next year. So it was fun. It was all in good fun. And when Eli figured out who it was, it was like he was upset with himself for not having seen this sooner.
Yes.
And Ryan did have help. I will admit to that. I did feed Ryan little details from time to time, like what Eli was wearing or what his living room looked like, where he lived, that kind of thing. So that way it would add a little bit of authenticity.
When I got angry, yes, it was really good.
And it would add to the authenticity of the messages, like he was really where he said he was.
That had me so bad. I still felt like, where is he? Where is he? Like, I'm just outside.
I remember you got so worked up.
Oh,
I remember that.
I'm going to kill him. Where is he?
Anyway, so you might be asking yourself, why are we going all into this? Well, Ryan unexpectedly passed away this past week. And whereas we were always friendly through our fantasy league and all the WPG stuff he did, Ryan was also my chiropractor. And we used to joke that my back always seemed to get hurt whenever fantasy league started. So we could just get together and share sleepers and strategies and new analysts and whatnot. But about 3 months ago, I was in a car accident. It really messed up my neck badly. So I'd see Ryan twice a week for about 45 minutes a session each time. And since fantasy season was over and WPG had been outed,
Long
I guess.
gone,
we got to talk about our lives and our families. And I really got to know him beyond that funny guy who just had a knack for doing wonderful voices. He really was a great guy. Spoke glowingly about his wife, unbelievably proud of his son. He was truly spiritual. He kept himself in phenomenal shape. Great insights into life. That taught me a lot. And the last text exchanges that we had with each other when I finished my treatments last week was how much he was going to miss our talks. And we talked about, no worries, man, we'll get together soon enough, and me, you, and Eli will go grab sushi. And, it saddens me that won't happen. So I can honestly say that I'll miss my talks with Ryan, and I just want to thank him for all the hilarious moments on the podcast, for being a good friend, for cracking us all up all the time. I'm going to miss him. My heart goes out to his family. And so if you're a spiritual person, please keep our friend Ryan in your prayers.
And his family as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome to The Hub, our main topic segment of our show. And as I mentioned in the intro, we are discussing Iger's Q&A session on May 15th, 2024 at the MoffettNathanson Media, Internet, and Communications Conference in New York City. Now, the parks conversation this year, oddly enough, took up a lot of the conversation of those 46 minutes. It was only a 46-minute interview, and it's publicly available. You can check it out. I'll put the links in the show notes, but the parks discussion dominated that. And while we're going through the discussion, we may mention Disney Plus only because of Disney's flywheel concept of business. Are y'all familiar with that? The whole flywheel thing that Walt had instituted as far as a business model kind of a thing?
Well, I was thinking everything was just connected.
Yeah, it's exactly what you think. Just like in a car has a flywheel. Just to give you some background on that in case you're curious, in the 50s, Walt Disney famously laid out his business strategy, and it was not about values, excellence, or marketing, or any other vague descriptor. It was about a methodic interconnection of businesses feeding each other and creating an ongoing reasons to engage with the Disney brand, much like a flywheel. All the different pieces are connected and they help each other out. And so I mention that only because in the interview, Iger does reference the flywheel a lot.
Okay.
So what I will do is I will play clips from the Q&A session, which is publicly available through MoffettNathanson's website and can be accessed from the Walt Disney Company's website as well. And for your information, Michael Nathanson, the Nathanson, MoffettNathanson, is the person asking questions of Bob Iger during his interview. I will provide the clip and some context, and we'll discuss our thoughts on Iger's response. You guys ready?
Ready.
All right. So to start, there is a legal statement, and I love if you listen to it, or even if you read it, it makes me laugh because it's just beautiful. Basically, that says these are thoughts and projections based on what is going on at the time of this conference and is subject to change. In addition, the company has no obligation to update anything said at this time and cannot be held accountable for statements that were said. Isn't that just beautiful?
Typical.
Jesus.
Typical
Lord.
legalese.
Good Lord. It was beautifully written. My gosh.
It's like the opinions of Bob Iger may not expressly represent the opinions of the Disney company.
Yes, exactly. All right, so let's start hearing the clips because I'm curious to see what you guys think. Because when I was listening to this and stuff, I was just like, we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
He's appealing to investors and advertisers, and we're consumers.
Yes.
We're people that do have money that would buy into it. But, well, we'll discuss more about how they think about users and stuff. But anyway.
Wallets with eyes, I believe. Is
yes.
Disney term.
A number to number.
Yeah, you're right. So look, in the first clip, Michael Nathanson brings up a concern regarding Disney storytelling as of late, implying that maybe it isn't up to par with what Disney has historically been known for.
No.
That's exactly something that we have brought up on the show before. How about that?
Huh.
And I kind of like Michael because he does kind of dig at these questions, but I play the clip with Michael asking it, and then you can see how Iger responds.
Okay.
One of the questions we have is, obviously Disney at its core is about great and evocative storytelling. But I wonder, have changes in either culture or technology challenged the company's ability to be as consistently strong as prior periods of storytelling?
Look, we obviously have a huge history or a legacy in storytelling. The company was 100 years old last October. I think as we got into the streaming business in a very, very aggressive way, we tried to tell too many stories. Basically, we invested too much, way ahead of possible returns. It's what led to streaming ending up as a $4 billion loss.
Yeah.
And the combination of spending more than was truly monetizable, but also spending more that resulted in volume and not quality turned out to be a mistake. There's a very fine line that you can cross and get in trouble if your volume ends up diluting management's attention to what is being made.
Right.
And that's what happened to us.
Well,
so I've pulled that back
right.
in a variety of ways.
So making bad movies turned out to be a mistake. Go figure, huh? Wow.
It's funny to me because he doesn't answer the question.
That's what I was going to say.
Right.
What about the culture part? Culture shut them down all day. They tried to focus more on what everybody wanted, but no storytelling that people needed.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you heard him at the very beginning. We have a great legacy of storytelling, but that's not the world we're living in now. Let's talk about the time we're living in now. And in today's world, your storytelling sucks. Absolutely sucks. And it's not because there's been too much of it, too much volume. It's because you're afraid of taking creative risks. That's what it's always been about. every time you find something successful, you repackage it and you regurgitate it and feed it back to us over and over again. So we get live action remakes we didn't want, uninspired sequels. They take characters we love and substitute them with second-rate Wish.com knockoff versions of them.
Yep.
I mean, you can point to 100 years, yeah, but under your watch, not so much.
I heard this statement and I was absolutely baffled. He mentions quality of storytelling, which was hindered by the quantity.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that got me is his statement where he says, you get into trouble if your volume ends up diluting management's attention to what is being made. So are you telling us that nobody was paying attention to what was getting out there?
Yeah,
they just wanted quantity? It's
Yeah.
just numbers?
That's what it sounds like. Make it and make a lot of it.
And that's it. It doesn't matter what it is.
But it might also explain why it is that so many political messaging ended up in these movies, which also contributed to why these movies didn't do so well.
Which he did not address.
Trying to go so deep into the social justice DEI stuff that it's impossible not to notice the political messaging in the movie as opposed to more of a universal
Or
feel
just
good story that we could all relate to
and get behind.
a well-crafted story. Period.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Build your heroes again.
A lot of those movies, the most defining element of the character was their race or their sex or their ethnicity, which means that these characters are no longer somebody that everyone can identify with because they endured and overcame struggles that we all have. And there's no villain because everyone's just misunderstood, unless, of course, your politics differ with Disney. Then, of course, the villain is you.
Right.
So,
Right.
that happens. But yeah, no, it's a really bizarre way of explaining things. Is basically, yeah, we let our artists have too much fun and now we're reining that back in. Is that what he's trying to say?
That's what it sounds like. But I mean, as we can tell, it doesn't sound like they had as much reign as he thinks there was.
I'm looking at some of the movies that are coming out in the not so distant future, and I don't see where they veered away from this at all. Does anyone really want an Agatha Harkness series?
No.
Does anyone want an Ironheart? What do they do? Is it a movie? Is it a series?
With Riri?
Riri.
Oh, Riri Williams?
Yeah. Anyone care?
No.
Not really.
I would have taken some kind of Agatha right after that original TV series happened.
Yeah.
That's when that was relevant. But
And it
now,
No.
she hasn't been referencing pretty much anything that's happened since then because I guess their volume got out of control and nobody was regulating it.
Any of the Star Wars series coming out? Any excitement there? Exactly.
There's a Star Wars series coming out?
Yeah.
Supposed to be, yeah. They had the
Acolyte.
last Bad Batch season, and I've been trudging through it, and I haven't finished it because it's like, I don't know.
You trudge it. That's tough.
I mean, I like those characters, and it's not fatigue. It's just like, the stories. I don't know what
They're not engaging.
It's not engaged. It doesn't work for me.
It doesn't make your mind come alive with wonder. It just doesn't.
There's no magic.
No.
No magic. Okay.
So yeah, no, there's a problem with storytelling. There's absolutely is, and this kind of a statement that, oh yeah, we figured it out. We just need to scale it back a little bit. No, there's a bigger issue at play here, and the issue is that they're risk adverse. They don't want to tell new and interesting stories.
No, exactly, and we'll learn more about that later when we talk about IP in the parks for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna play this next clip, and it's interesting to me because Iger specifically states, and this makes me laugh. He specifically states that the company does better when there is a creative at the helm. And of course, he lumps himself in there. Oh. And the reason why this is important to note is because we on this podcast have long stated that there's a terrible imbalance between creatives and businessmen in upper leadership positions at the Walt Disney Company. At this moment in time, I still feel like the scales skew more towards the business side of things, despite the fact that Iger has said that he wants to put the creatives back in control. So let's give a listen to what he says on this particular clip.
Okay.
But how do you balance in streaming the need to continually refresh content versus your drive for quality, right? So how do you toggle between?
Well, first I'll get to that. I think to drive quality at a company, and you can look at the history of the company, it's kind of interesting. I happen to believe that demanding excellence from the top is really important.
Yeah.
And having me demand a level of quality and paying attention to it drives other people to deliver as much close to perfection as possible.
Right.
And if you look at the history of the company, when the CEO of the company had a deep creative background, the company thrived. And the 3 eras really were Walt's era and Michael Eisner's era, which, began, the first 10 years were tremendous in terms of growth, returns, and quality. And I have to say, in my tenure from 2005 to 2020, and I think the reason for that is because the entire organization knows there's some guy in a corner office that's watching everything carefully.
Right.
And there's also, it goes both ways. They want to perform, they want to deliver.
Yeah.
But it's constantly reminding everybody of the need to do that. Lately I've been telling everybody good isn't good enough. It has to be great. Just keep driving that. But if you force them to make too much, then that becomes almost impossible to do.
Right.
So there's that dynamic.
Yeah. There it is.
That's some good political talk right there.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm not answering the question, but I'm going to answer the question I want to answer.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of nothing.
Notice he left out the Chapek era.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everything stopped at 20. You remember he didn't he just say that I worked until 2020?
Oh, yeah, he was the third era of wonderful creativeness.
Yeah, I forgot to mention he stayed on for a bit after that, but
I wouldn't put him in the same rank as like Walt and Eisner. I'm
not
sorry.
even close.
As far as creatives.
It's scary that he seems to be suggesting that his presence is what brought about this strive for perfection.
Or even that he suggested any kind of creative thing to the company.
Yeah.
I have never heard stories like with Eisner. I always heard stories where like Eisner would have 1,000 ideas, but maybe one was like a gem.
Yeah.
But at least he had 1,000 ideas.
Right.
I have never heard the stories of Iger just like, granted, maybe he's not the most vociferous person. I have no idea. I'll never know. But there's nothing going around any kind of fan universe or stuff where he's like, yeah, man, Iger had this idea, but never came to fruition. Have y'all heard anything like that?
He thumps his chest about being the guy who made Black Panther a reality. He does do that.
He just gave it the green light and the funding. What?
Well, I mean, he says it right here. Some guy in a corner office that's watching everything carefully. He's the guy in the corner office. What was down there watching everything carefully? Eisner was down there watching everything carefully. Iger's in his office.
Yeah.
Having what people tell him, this is what's going on.
That's a great point, because I remember hearing Eisner with stories like, he had his nephew or something. He's like, something's missing here or whatever. And then Eisner's like, yeah, well, we should put that in there or something. He was in there.
Kirk, there was a guy who was not in his corner office, who had his boots on the ground, whose name is rarely ever spoken of in Disney circles anymore, who ran herd on the most successful Disney releases of the Iger era. A certain
hug too much?
chief creative officer at Pixar and Disney Animation, who had a penchant for hugging, I believe.
He did like to hug.
Lots of hugging.
Wasn't just responsible for overseeing the classics like Toy Story and Finding Nemo and Cars and all that, but also oversaw Frozen and Moana and Coco and Wreck-It Ralph and others. And I don't know how good we've been doing ever since that guy left.
But that's exactly where the imbalance came.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that Iger's the creative here. He's the businessman in that.
No,
he's on the Roy side of the fence.
He's the Roy.
What he did was he purchased creatives. Lasseter, I know people are upset about the allegations made against that. I don't know. I wasn't there, but seeing that Apple and Netflix both work with the guy afterwards, and generally if somebody was accused of that and they were guilty, you were out immediately. They let his contract run out. So I'm going to guess it wasn't as serious as all that, but who knows? I'm just saying that it wasn't Bob. There were other people. Lin-Manuel Miranda, another one.
Yes.
Why was Encanto successful? Was it the great story or was it the great music?
No, that's a style. That's a management style too. A lot of project managers will do. They'll beat their chest, like you said earlier, and say, look how I inspire all of this. Because from the top, that's me, and everybody likes what I'm doing. I mean, this guy came out way before in past episodes that we say where he's like, yeah, I'm not a creative person. I mean, what was he, a weatherman? He ain't no creative in that. He didn't even run the CGI to tell where the rain was coming from in whatever state he was in.
And it's hard to be creative when the direction from management sitting in their corner offices, make more of that. I don't know how to make a sequel to Finding Nemo. He found this. That's it. It's over. Make more. Finding Dory.
she had a memory issue.
Yeah.
We can explore that.
Yes. We went more Toy Story. We already wrapped it up already. Wrap it up again.
Wrap it again.
And do a live action version of it. I mean, this decision is not being made by artists.
No.
This is being made by the guy in the corner office. So I don't want to hear any of that, we tried to get them to make a lot of creative stuff. They just couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle the volume. The quality suffered because these creatives couldn't handle it. No, y'all were feeding them shitty ideas and they didn't know how to make work.
You created the volume.
Right.
Yeah.
That led to like bad quality control.
Trust your people. Trust
Sorry,
your
man.
art.
I can't lump you in there with Walton Eisner.
Pirates of the Caribbean was the last attraction that Walt was personally involved in. You find plethora of pictures of Walt involved in Pirates of the Caribbean, walking through. He gives you that tour of the models. He's playing around with the heads and all. And Iger may have opened a ton of attractions when he was around, or it may have opened he was there. But how many was he personally involved in? You're gonna say you're the creative. I mean, shut up.
Right. He bought Marvel. When's the last time you ever saw a picture of him reading a Marvel comic book? There's no creativity in just saying, I'm buying that, and I'm buying that.
No. They don't have a business model that involves taking creative risks anymore. Everything is decided in a boardroom as terms to what should be the most successful. Now go make that.
Because that's what the numbers tell them. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether or not somebody has a good idea for that or not is an entirely different thing. And that's the one thing they can't wrap themselves around. Hey, let's do a Frozen ride. Okay, how do we do it? What are we going to do? I don't know. Just have them sing the songs. That's what they like. Sing the songs.
Will we go build something totally new? No, take that Norwegian thing and let's reskin that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Elsa's from Norway. Put her in there.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Stick it
Awesome.
in there.
That's creativity. So this next clip, I'm just going to play because to me it's rather odd.
Okay.
We'll give a listen. It has everything to do with how the parks are now a major source of income, but maybe not for the reasons you think. So here we go.
We've now spent more time in parks than we have over the years. Usually we get right into media, but the importance of parks, as you know, it's really interesting is how investors need to shift their focus on what's actually driving Disney's earnings.
Yeah, and I think a few things happened there. First of all those investments paid off. So suddenly, I can't remember the specific numbers, Alexia is here, but I think we doubled OI in those parks over a relatively short period of time. I know, just to give you an example, I think when I became CEO in 2005, Disneyland, the whole thing was making $100 million. That's well over $1 billion OI business today. So it's grown enormously, and we should feel great about that. And so just by those statistics alone, it would have become more important and a topic of conversation.
Right.
But another thing that happened is, we had a movie division that was, throwing off an enormous amount of we call operating income and cash flow. And they faltered on COVID, and then they had some misses creatively. And we aim to turn that around. Actually, I'm heartened by the results just this past weekend. We have 3 big movies this summer. The first one was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, did really well. And I feel great about Inside Out 2, and I feel great about Deadpool, and we can talk about the slate well into the future. But as movies faltered, Parks and Resorts had a larger share of our bottom line. And of course, traditional media channels, cable and satellite channels, played an enormous role in essentially delivery to the bottom line. And we know what's happened there. So you had the movie business hitting a speed bump of sorts. You had the continued erosion of traditional media. We had our losses in streaming, which we've reduced by billions. And now we have to turn that into a growth business. So I think if you look at the company over the next 5 years, you'll see continued growth in Parks and Resorts, and they will remain significant. You'll see growth in streaming. I'm not saying how much, how fast, but we believe that should be a double-digit margin business. We're not saying by when, but that's what it should be.
So just to preface what I'm about to say, Iger in his world sees him only having 4 main units that report to him. That's film and television, both of which those units control streaming, ESPN, and the experiences products, which includes the cruise line and the parks, right? So essentially what Iger is saying to me is that the experiences products are their top revenue generator solely due to the faltering of those other units, which is what you just said, such as film, television, ESPN. And to me, it's like saying, if I'm in a race with the 3 of you guys, all 4 of us, and y'all slow down, I win, right?
Right.
And I don't win because I'm faster than you guys, but only because y'all slow down because y'all probably ran 12 other races before I raced you guys. And I'll go back to the point about volume. You know, so y'all had the volume, y'all putting out all this kind of stuff, doing all these kind of races, and then I come along and, you know, maybe I didn't have as many volume because I was being neglected as a park. You know, there wasn't as much happening with me. So I wasn't as tired or whatever. And so by the time I raced y'all, the only reason why I won is because you guys were tired. And that's it. That's what it sounds like he's saying to me. You know, it's like the other units faltered. Film had to mess up. Traditional television not doing so well. ESPN, we're working on that. And what comes out on top? The parks. So he can say, oh, the parks are the top revenue generator. But not because you've put so much into it. You literally ignored it for how many years? The only one because everybody else got tired.
That and because they robbed the parks to pay for all their crappy movies.
Yeah, the whole flywheel concept. Yes, exactly. It's all for that. So it's like he makes this statement that's just like, I don't know if that's a good argument to make or makes me feel, if I was an investor, makes me feel confident.
It definitely would not make me feel. In fact, the whole part about, you know, we're not really worried about the U.S. because we're doing really, really well in China.
Yes.
I mean, man, that's disgusting.
As a U.S. consumer, I'm like, well,
Yes.
okay, I guess that doesn't really bode well for what I can expect in the future.
Disney was synonymous with America. I mean, and not to say that, you know, it's bad that it's overseas. No, it's great that it's overseas, but you're doing better overseas because everything you open is a joint venture with another company that's keeping you honest, because they don't have to worry about supporting a struggling streaming service or bad creative or a sports network that's faltering. I mean, they're not worrying about. They're worrying about making their theme parks a great place for people to visit, and that's why the parks over there get the better attractions, get things that you would make a point to go see. That we haven't had an attraction open like that since Rise of the Resistance.
Right. Yeah, I haven't felt lightweight for any kind of attraction since then.
And I'd like to know how they expect to grow their businesses in the U.S. when the parks are such a huge part of this, and they're about ready to take a huge hit when Epic Universe comes.
Yeah. Oh, he's not worried about that. We'll get to that later.
Have you seen what we've built and what we are still building? Epic Universe, they can do what the hell they want. Have you seen what we built? What we've built?
What they built over there?
Dude, I got Tiana's Bayou Adventure Mountain Splash
Extravaganza.
Yeah. With Mama Odie with the mountain and pushing you down and stuff. Have you seen that?
Oh man, I don't know if I'm ready to experience the power of this.
You're not Epic Universe with your monsters and your dragons and training and stuff like that.
My dad. That's
I gotta buy you mountain.
Gotta buy you mountain.
Who your daddy?
Okay, I'm stopping.
That's all good.
I was about to say you're losing your cheeriness.
I like
that's all good.
Positive Kirk over here.
I know. I see that. I see that. But you know, it's funny we bring that up, Danny, because I have a clip here that that he's very confident about the growth in the experience products.
Okay,
which is the parks and the cruises, regardless of the softness in the U.S. properties.
The other thing I think you have to look at is that we, in expanding that business over the last decade or so, we really have created a portfolio approach just to that business.
Right.
We're in 6 locations around the world. Finally, we have Shanghai profitable, Hong Kong is profitable, Paris is profitable. That's a major accomplishment. We have 5 cruise ships that have been enormously profitable and 3 more being built. One will be launched the end of this year. I think it's 2 that'll be launched in calendar 25. Including one that will be based in Singapore so that we can really start to open up a family cruise market in Southeast Asia. Right. So if you look at the entirety of the business, even if there's softness in the U.S., then we have these incredible growth engines outside the United States and on the sea. So I'm bullish on the business.
There you go. You see, to your point, Danny, that's exactly what he's doing, is pointing the investor eye to the full picture in his world, which includes the overseas parks. Yes, we're soft in the U.S. Things are not going as well, but these other parks, which we haven't really developed before, are showing growth because now we're developing them. And so for your bottom line, we're going to get your investments. But for the U.S. consumer, it doesn't matter much to him, because they're not going. It doesn't really matter because everything else is happening, and what matters is the bottom line.
It doesn't. Did you hear? Cruise ships. We got 3 more coming, based out of Singapore. Dude, parks around the world are doing gangbusters. They're making bank, bro. Iger is making all this money. And y'all gonna sit there and you complain. So what? Y'all parks aren't doing so good in the U.S. I don't care, man. I'm making some money because of all my overseas investors. I'm making them happy.
That's right.
You people in the U.S. are y'all
Small
entitled.
potatoes.
Y'all entitled. Y'all, oh, it gotta be me. Gotta be no. It's the whole world as the one unit. So what? Y'all spoiled. You got 2 parks: Disneyland, Disney World. Okay, Disney World got 4. So okay, you got 5 parks in Disney World. How many we got across the world? We got like 18, and they're making good money. They're doing awesome. Have you seen? You know what? We took Splash Mountain from y'all, but guess who still got Splash Mountain? They still got Splash Mountain. That's because we care. They know Splash Mountain is the most popular attraction in the world.
In the world.
You want to experience it? You can still experience it. I ain't taking it away. It's still there. Go experience it.
They should have a cruise that goes from like Florida to
Splash
Shanghai.
Mountain Cruise takes you from Florida
Yeah.
to Shanghai. Whatever the hell it's at. Hong Kong. You go up there.
Tokyo. It's a
Get
Tokyo.
it.
Yeah.
Shanghai. It's a Splash
right.
Mountain Cruise. You get on the boat with Brer Rabbit. I'm sorry, I can't have him. You get on
Can't
the boat with
have that.
Tiana.
Yeah.
And when you get there,
That's
Tiana
right.
says, "Hey, you go enjoy Brer Rabbit because I
That's
can't
right.
be here."
Here's my
And
pet
you go do
bunny.
your stuff.
That's it.
It's fun. And look, I'm worried about the wrong thing. Walt Disney was a comeback. You people, you plebes will come back because you love it.
Oh.
That is exactly.
I'm not worried about what you think. Look, I'm making bank. Isn't that right, Danny? I'm
That's
making
exactly
the
what
money
I
over
heard.
there.
We're
I'm making
Disney.
the money.
We're Disney.
You gonna
Yeah.
leave Disney? You gonna leave
No one
Disney?
can touch us.
Hell no, you gonna leave
Who
Disney?
leaving Disney?
That's right.
You gonna leave Disney? All I gotta do is throw that mustache man. Excuse me, Walt Disney up there. Wants his mustache. Might be the wrong person you think of.
I'm thinking of Mario.
Him too. I would
Hey,
take no, he's the other place. We're gonna
It's
beat
a
his ass.
Mario.
We're
I
gonna beat his ass
I was
too.
thinking of Stan.
We're gonna throw Walt Disney up there, say a couple of words, and you go get all sentimental and say, "Oh man, I want to go back to Disney World." You go back to Disney World.
Don't go come
You
back.
like, and look, you gonna come back.
Don't come back.
Did you see the expansion I got in line for Disneyland? Dude, I'm gonna do some stuff.
What?
With you.
What? The U.S. consumer, we get a shot.
Look.
Do we?
I got stuff coming in the next 6 years, 6, 7, 10 years, and you're gonna love it. Exactly. Look, Pandora.
Ah.
Disneyland. It's
Disneyland
the most popular land ever.
all day.
I heard Danny say
Oh,
it many
damn.
times. He cannot express how much he loves Pandora.
No,
He
of
loves
course
Pandora
not.
as much as I don't like Disney, Animal Kingdom.
Oh,
That's a lot.
That's
Danny
a
or-
lot.
That's a lot.
Danny or
man.
Iger?
And that was for Rachel. I threw it out to Rachel.
Oh, you did
Yeah,
that.
that
Okay,
was
okay,
that-
okay, okay.
Wow.
Wow.
That performance piece was
That
incredible.
was beautiful. Yes.
You like it?
Bravo.
You coming
Bravo.
Thank you. I will shut up now so I don't
No.
derail the whole shit.
You did that. You did
No, but
that.
what you said
brought
is,
it in.
that's what I heard.
Yes.
Guys,
Yeah.
we don't need you. We got 4 billion people in Asia we can cater to. Those people are appreciative of us. You are not. We're happy. We're happy with what we're doing over there. You either get along what we're doing and like what we give you, or move on.
You know, I remember hearing that Isa's plan one day, and it all came out was, we will pick you up from the airport. We will bring you to our resorts. We will leave you there so you can't go anywhere else. Spend your money here. Enjoy your time here. You can't do that anymore.
Nope.
That's not an option anymore. Well, you can. I'm not saying that you could do that, but it's not at their expense anymore. All that stuff has been taken away.
Yeah.
To the expense of the user. I mean,
Yeah,
our
exactly.
user, I mean, in computer
Consumer.
terms, user consumer.
Yeah.
The people that consume the stuff,
Yes.
you know, to our detriment, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we're going to replace it with other things that make it super, super complicated.
Move to Shanghai. That's all you got to do.
I mean, I
Just move to China.
look.
Yeah.
How I ain't got that much yen. Know what I'm saying? Like I can't scrape up all this yen.
Believe me, you would make all kind of yen in China.
I probably would freak them out.
Yen in China. Oh,
Yen.
okay. Yeah.
Wow.
I know what the a yen is, but
I
you would
thought
make
that
all
was
kind
the
of yen in
currency.
China.
That's Japanese. So,
Was it?
Yeah, yen is Japanese.
Oh,
I
boy.
was pretty sure of that.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
the Chinese
I didn't know.
currency?
I don't know. I don't keep up.
See, we don't
It's
even-
like Animal House. Forget it. He's rolling.
yeah.
I forgot.
It's all good. It's all good.
That's it. That's it.
Well, you know, it's funny you bring about the experiences division, which includes the parks and the cruise ships, because, you know, Iger talks about turbocharging those experiences to help keep the flywheel moving. So let's see how Iger responds when asked how he plans to place incremental capital to turbocharge all the items in the experience division.
Right. And when you say turbocharge, what are those 2 or 3 priorities, into portfolio? But when you think about where you're putting incremental capital, what are the areas that you think you can turbocharge?
Well, I mentioned cruise, where we're building 3, including one that'll be a 7,000 passenger ship that'll be based in Singapore. We have just gotten approval from the city of Anaheim for the biggest expansion of Disneyland really since we opened California Adventure in 2001. So in over 2 decades. And it's a huge expansion. We haven't been specific about what will be in it, except for Avatar, which, going back to the flywheel, by the way, is an extremely successful land in Orlando. So that's one example. We have 1,000 acres of land to develop. We have plenty of opportunity. We're opening up actually a big expansion next month in Tokyo. And so we haven't announced the specifics behind it all, nor do we have to over 10 years. We're not going to say we're going to build in years 8, 9, and 10, because we'll be opportunistic if new IP emerges, or if we want to lean into a given market. But I'm bullish about what it is we will be investing in, whether it's the additional ships or whether it's in the lands and the attractions and the hotels and the vacation club, which is our timeshare business that we're building out. Again, it'll be portfolio expansion.
And it feels like those international parks, Shanghai and Paris, have really turned a corner, right? Those were assets that you long invested in. Talk a bit about like just what you're seeing on the ground in terms of the dynamic.
Sure. Well, Paris, we have been investing nicely in the second park that opened there, which was called Studios, which ultimately will be renamed. And we've opened up a significant amount of new attractions there, and there are a lot more being built that will open in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So I feel great about that. Shanghai opened in 2016, obviously affected negatively by COVID, which hit them hard. And what was really hard is there were openings and closings and openings and closings. But having now been there, as much as I have, and twice, I've actually been there 3 times since I came back. It's an extraordinary thing to see, because of its popularity. It's the #1 tourist destination in Shanghai. It has had a huge impact on brand affinity of Disney in the country, which is what my intention was when we decided to plant the brand flag deeply and in a significant way. So demand is huge. I feel, and also high-speed rail serving basically that specific area of Shanghai is growing enormously. And so just people's ability to get there. And we ended up with 7 square kilometers of land. I believe we developed 4 of that. So there's opportunity at some point there as well. We've done some nice expanding in Hong Kong. I mentioned Tokyo, talked about Paris. Okay. Plenty of opportunity.
When you think Asia, think Iger.
That's right.
See, my year was going to work. Bring all the boys to the yard.
You see?
That fool had to redo studios in Paris because it was one of the shittiest performing parks in the world.
It was called Shitty Studios.
It could have been. Yeah.
You know what? I'll give him props for not mentioning the name of it before, because there was Walt Disney Studios. It was a park, so don't put his name in that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's all about Shanghai.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of people in Shanghai.
I love how popular he believes Avatar Land is. It's so popular that you have to go see it before 6:00 p.m.
But wait, it's the Disneyland though. They're gonna have all night for that.
Oh, they're gonna have all night for that.
All night for that.
And people,
and they got 1,000 acres. It might be a lot bigger.
And
they might put more attractions in there. It might just be Flight of Passage. Might be like the river. What is it? River Journey, Navi, whatever.
Navi River Journey.
That's how much I go to that park. And there's a Flight of Passage, and you might have
the boba ball stuff.
Yeah, I saw Avatar once. So tell me what the other kind of stuff they might put in there. You might put the big robot where you can actually get in there and ride it.
How cool would that be?
Man, that was the same robot from Aliens.
Yeah.
That wasn't even like an original robot.
You talking about
James
get away
Cameron
from
just, yeah.
You talking about get away from her, you bitch?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, he kept the artist still working for him.
I noticed how none of this, he mentions COVID quite a bit.
Oh, of course.
And I noticed how he never says, yeah, you know, that worldwide thing that I kind of hightailed once I saw it was coming, so I wouldn't get blamed for nothing.
That is funny.
I guess you wouldn't mention that.
You know that thing when people were in their houses begging for anything and everything to look at, and we still couldn't deliver a good streaming content? That thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we couldn't hook him. Couldn't hook him at all.
As good as he is with doing stuff legally, like acquiring stuff, if I was him, I would be sparing no expense to try to do whatever I could to get all the Marvel rights from Universal. Don't know if it's possible, but I will be willing to, I'll sell you my firstborn. Okay, he's kind of old, so maybe my firstborn, No, keep it safe, firstborn grandchild. I'll sell you my firstborn great grandchild. Give me those rights back so I can play with them in Florida.
Your third round pick.
Yeah, that thing.
I'll be honest with you. I used to want to see that, but now when I saw what they did with Marvel in California, when there's no restrictions, and seeing that Universal is still better at presenting Marvel,
True.
I don't want them to get the rights back now.
That's true.
That's
Because
a good point.
I'm afraid that they would just mess it all up.
But here's the thing, if you have the rights, and I brought this up last time I was here, if you have the rights all back, what could you do if you could build an entire park dedicated to nothing but Marvel?
They have the full theme park rights to Star Wars, and they screwed that up. What in the blue hell would make you think that they can do Marvel right?
And speaking of,
and all we would end up with was losing the best Marvel ride on U.S. soil in Spider-Man. In Universal. That was all that would come of that, in my opinion.
Then I digress. And I always did think, speaking of Galaxy's Edge, I always did think that Streets of America would have been perfect for like a Marvel thing. Guess New York, Spider-Man,
easily.
Fantastic Four. It's all based in New York. Daily Bugle, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But
he just needs the numbers. That's all he bases his things on.
And you can't. And some of that is where you have to trust your gut creatively. If you did it right creatively, then you know everybody's going to come in and pick up on it.
He doesn't even sound like a human being. He really does not. He sounds like he's just regurgitating words that have just been fed into his CPU. That's all it feels like. He doesn't sound like he's addressing like, hey, this is going out to people. I want to give hope. I want to give excitement. I want to give a sense of, I want to turbocharge.
Yes.
The investors here. And no, it doesn't come across like that to me.
Oh.
He almost seems like he's bored with the questions. Like, of course we're doing great. Of course everything is fine. This is all just BS. Let me correct your narrative. No, it's not that.
We're doing
it's really just this, and we're doing fine.
well, I know I have said before that we all have an emotional connection to anything Disney.
Mm-hmm.
The older of us have an emotional connection to Disney because of Walt Disney himself, because he was involved. But the more we get away from what stuff was back then, the less people are going to be emotionally attached to what they're putting out.
Yes.
And that's going to drive down their fan base or whatever you want to call it, because they don't care anymore. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's IP. Well, you don't need a creative.
I think Kevin's about ready to play something about that, right?
Yeah, but before I do, I wanted to bring up a point. I didn't pull this clip, but he mentions this when talking about the overall growth of the whole thing. But he says this, and I quote Bob Iger in this interview. He says, but it's very, very clear that the experience that we deliver, whether it's at a park or a cruise ship, is an extraordinary experience that I think where the value is not going away, showing no signs of ebbing at all. And what's fascinating to me, and it's obvious, heartening, is that it's multi-generational. It doesn't wane even for old people. Interesting enough, the number of people who visit, number of people who go on our cruises are without kids because their connection to the brand and the IP is extraordinary, and their kids and their children's children, and so on and so on.
Unless you start telling those older people that everything they liked was wrong to like it because it was all racist and misogynistic and whatever.
Problematic and whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
All that stuff.
You start to lose that connection, and he can't see it now because, like you said, it's multi-generational. I mean, it's your children's children and your mama's mamas, whatever.
He uses it when it benefits him, and he badmouths it when it doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, he speaks out of both sides of his mouth.
As a politician would.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So look, great. Iger has a plan to turbocharge the experiences, but what is he going to use to do so? Well, IP, of course. And this part of the
Kirk was talking about, yes,
exactly, yeah. So this part of the Q&A exploded all over every Disney fan outlet in this past week, with headlines saying, "Confirmed, Iger says parks growth will be solely based on IP."
It's a lot of explosions.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. I Googled the stuff, and I kept up with the posts ever since it was released on the 15th, and that a lot of people were saying this. So let's actually hear what the man said. Let's give him at least that due. So this is the rationale for focusing on IP for the experiences.
Before you play that, as soon as I heard this, I'm like, duh.
Right.
I mean, of course, that's what they're going to do.
We've been saying that for years.
But this is not a hidden agenda in any way. This is exactly what he wants to do and has been wanting to do.
And it feels safe.
Yes.
Yes. All right, Bob, take it away, sir.
We were just in Shanghai a couple of weeks ago. It was my 50th trip to China, by the way, so I got feted with a cake, which I didn't really need, but and it was my second visit since we opened Zootopia Land. Now, Zootopia was the #1 animated movie in China. And so we decided, 5 years ago or so, in thinking about what we would invest in Shanghai in terms of IP, why not lean into Zootopia, which is such a popular film? We built a huge land there, tremendous. And the success is, I can't really even describe it, but almost like 90% of the people who show up are aware that Zootopia is there. We built a big enough land, so we're serving, I think, about 50% of the people who visit actually to go through Zootopia Land. It's just a great example of that flywheel. And if you look at the films that we have coming up, which include Moana in November, where we're starting to lean into investment in the parks for that IP, also happened to have been the #1 stream movie in America across all streaming platforms last year, and the film came out in 2016. Obviously, we're leaning in more to Star Wars. We have a Mandalorian film the end of 26. We have a Toy Story film, Toy Story 5 coming up. And that there's Toy Story presence in, I believe every one of our locations around the world, although I got to remember whether there's one in Tokyo, but I know Hong Kong, Paris, Orlando, and Anaheim. And so if we get things right film-wise, and I feel really good about where we are, then that should start to pay off more in terms of combining it with the turbocharged concept that I described at the parks and investment. And interestingly enough, if you analyze carefully how we achieve those returns on invested capital in the parks, it was all about the IP.
Yeah.
So for quite a long time, new attractions and lands at the parks were based on essentially either very old IP or no IP, just an attraction. And starting really with Cars Land and Toy Story and a few other, I can't remember all the specifics, we decided that almost all of our investment in the parks in terms of attractions and lands would be using that IP. And it's very, very clear what that delivered.
Right. IP it is.
On behalf of all of us, I think I can speak for the entire Disney fan community. We're tired of Toy Story. We really are. It was great for its time. Toy Story 1 was beautiful. Toy Story 2 was like a great follow-up. Toy Story 3 was like, okay, it's whatever. They felt the need to wrap the whole thing up. Mm-hmm. We need no more Toy Story. Enough with the damn Toy Story.
There's your
Potato Head is dead. Mrs. Potato Head is dead. Slinky Dog is dead. Like they're all dropping like that. Toys are dying. Can we move on? Can we find something? Here's the problem, as I see it, with what he's talking about with this whole IP thing. Couple things. One, go to any Disney park. Which rides are still the most visited? Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, Expedition Everest, Soarin'. Am I missing anything?
Thinking.
There are. I would defy anyone to name me an attraction that sells more merch than Haunted Mansion.
Merch that's not based on a movie or anything else other than that attraction.
Right?
No, even if it was. Even if you go to Galaxy's Edge, I'm sure they sell a ton of Star Wars stuff. I don't think people are buying it because of Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. I don't think they're buying it. They're buying it because they're a fan of that property. But when it comes to buying something because of an attraction, Haunted Mansion, I think is unparalleled.
I really don't think you can go on Facebook and find a dozen of Facebook groups that say Haunted Mansion fans and Haunted Mansion super fans and buy and sell Haunted Mansion merchandise and all this other stuff, because Well, I'm in all of them, but that's. I mean, you wouldn't find that for Galaxy's Edge. You might find a couple, but not for the same thing.
You don't find it for pirates either.
I was gonna say, yeah, pirates.
Well, the pirate stuff is pretty generic. You know, I feel like
It's
even though
pirate
it's
stuff.
yeah, it's you can find pirate stuff anywhere. You can find it in Tampa Bay. You can find it in Maryland. You can, Baltimore, wherever.
Look, the problem that I see here is that when you have that newer IP that hasn't quite caught on, like Strange World and Wish and Elemental or Soul or Luca or whatever, those are IP that just never even got out of the gates.
True.
Like
Right,
no one.
yeah.
Then there's the IP that kind of did okay, but not successful enough. Because if you listen to what Bob said there, he told you it's all about dollars and cents.
Yes,
Zootopia was the most. He said it was the most successful movie
in China. Yes,
Boom, build Zootopia. He's telling you we're looking at the box office receipts and whether this is a good world or a bad world, in our opinion or our estimation, whether our creators have anything for it or not. We're going all by the dollar figures.
exactly.
So you have IP that has done well, like Turning Red and Onward and Brave, but they never really quite was successful enough to where Disney ever did anything with it. So what does that leave you with? The same old Toy Story, Cars, Princesses, Lion King, all that's been overexposed, run to the ground, regurgitated. You're tired of seeing it. You want something new and exciting. And they're not delivering that.
Nope. I mean, everything that he rattled off is going to be a sequel of something.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I can't help but think, and we'll get to the Epic Universe clip soon enough, but it's like, yeah, you can make the argument that Epic Universe is using a lot of IP in the various worlds. However, they have one central plaza that is not tied to anything IP-wise at all. And I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm. That's Celestial Park.
Celestial Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a single thing that's tied to IP, but damn, I'm excited to look forward to seeing that.
I'll be honest, I'm more excited for the Universal Monsters, but not even because I necessarily look at it as IP, because monsters have always been around. These were stories and everything like that. So I'm more excited about that than anything else. But at the same time, man, it just it's just so infuriating to hear a guy speak like this. We want our creatives to be creative and create great and storytelling moments, but they can only do it on that we seem to be feeling that it's profitable. Yes, exactly. We're not going to gamble on their little foolish dreams and visions for things that could really be something special. It has to be all stuff that made money.
Yeah, he can't gamble on nonsense on the napkin as he would think the creatives are doing.
On a napkin.
Right?
Shout out to Rachel.
Like I remember, there was a guy named Tony Baxter.
Yep.
He was given a thing. I don't know if his dream, his idea or not for a log flume ride. Or if he was taxed with that by Eisner, and they were closing down the America thing.
Yeah, America Sings. America Sings, yeah.
Yeah, all these animatronics, and he's like, what can we do with this? I don't know. Like, you know what? Log flume.
Mm-hmm.
Splash Mountain. Like, nobody made it. Sorry. Song of the South, and Eisner came up with the whole Splash Mountain thing because of the movie stuff. But he came up with the concept for that thing, using these characters from this movie that was basically kind of forgotten, not for the reason that it is now, but because it's so long ago. Came out, awesome ride, one of the best in the world.
I can't help but think to him that the numbers come from the fact that it's just a log flume ride.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's like, so it's a ride system that's log flume. People obviously like the log flume system. So it doesn't matter what skin we put on it, as long as we give them a log flume thing.
Let's hope that works out.
He might be right.
He might be right.
It may. I mean, like I said before, sure it's going to be beautiful. They one thing they can do, they can find contractors that can make beautiful rides.
Whoa. I'm not so sure about that anymore.
Okay.
Look at the exterior. It's not even close.
I've tried not to.
It's not even close.
I'm sorry. I am so looking forward to that ride, man.
There you go.
I've seen the pictures and it is beautiful.
Is it beautiful?
All of y'all naysayers, y'all need to just suck it, okay?
Yeah.
Guys, this ride is going to be the best thing ever.
The chip we had implanted in Kirk's brain now that stops him from it just kicked in.
The reception to this is going to be
rail car.
I will quote the Orange Man. It's going to be huge.
Oh, okay. Please don't.
This thing is going to be awesome.
Okay.
So
I can't be there opening day, but I wish I could.
So those that are in the Facebook group, if you're curious as to what Kirk you've been dealing with for the past few weeks, this is it right here.
Yes, he's very genuinely disingenuous.
That's right.
Dude,
So
alligators blowing horns.
I mean, why they can't be musical?
Mama Odie drops you down the mountain. I thought it was gonna be that's silly. That made the most sense. Mama Odie, she's a magic woman.
Why she got it? Why it
She's
got to
Marie
make sense?
Laveau. She can throw you down the mountain. What mountain? There's no mountains in the bayou.
There's no
Mama
mountain.
Odie made a mountain.
There's
There's gonna be a mountain there, bro.
That's the power.
That's
voodoo.
Mama's mountain.
See you're the
power
biggest
voodoo.
one. See, Danny don't care. You're all negative about Tiana's bayou
I am,
crap and
dude.
everything.
I own
But you're
that.
all negative. You know what, bro? Suck it. Because it's gonna be an awesome ride, bro. It's gonna be an awesome ride. I can't be there opening day, but I wish I could.
That just happened.
Oh, that is
Well,
funny.
I'll be there.
I will be calling everybody I know in Florida. Say, hey, you gonna be there opening day?
Yeah.
I will find somebody who'll be there opening day. Say,
Opening
look,
day.
put me on FaceTime or whatever the hell it's called on your. I will be
Oh,
there.
everybody be there.
I will be able to ride through your phone.
You want to be like
I'm
a
gonna
little
take the day
Kirk
off from
Fight?
work. What day
So-
is it open?
28th of June.
I will be there.
So, listeners, if you want to attend the Magic Our Way re-education camp, just send an email to magicourway@gmail.com. We'll fix you up just like we did Kirk right
Yeah.
over
Yeah,
there.
it only
Yeah.
takes a matter of a series of words. And
Yeah,
there
so-
you go.
And
Yes.
a Clockwork Orange type presentation.
That's right.
Yeah.
A mountain in the bayou.
Yes.
Didn't make no sense. Mama Odie. Makes all the sense in the world now,
It's
bro.
It did creativity.
Look,
I call creativity, Kirk.
Mama Odie. Hey, look, you was sitting there saying, "Oh, it's not gonna be Dr. Facility throw him down. He's the bad guy." You don't need no bad
Don't
guy,
need
bro.
a bad guy.
They're searching for the secret ingredient for the gumbo or the beignets or whatever the hell they're cooking.
Got to get
you know what the
Kale
secret
Gumbo
ingredient
out
is?
of there.
It's the critters making the music.
That's it.
Guys, Kirk left his
Best-
emotional support animal at home. We're going to get him a stuffed animal or something, and he's going to be fine in a minute.
Trying to be positive.
You better be glad that this is
Rusted.
not the number one attraction in Shanghai.
17. Daybreak.
I'm just telling
Definitely
you,
wouldn't stand a
y'all all
chance
haters.
now.
Have you seen the animatronics? Have you seen them?
No.
Oh man, yeah, that look great, huh?
Huh?
Dude, I was thinking the Tiana animatronic. Okay, I'm just saying that.
Well, look, Bob's probably happy to hear your enthusiasms.
Did we just gloss
Freight
over
car.
the fact that he just said he would sleep with a robot?
I did. I will not gloss over it. I will
I
tell you
missed
right
that.
now.
I mean, no one commented.
Tiana.
I missed that.
He just, I just
I was
kind
trying
of
to
heard
recite
it.
the words to calm him down, but
Okay.
obviously
No,
I messed up.
I said I saw it and looked cooler, and he went there. But hey, man, love is love.
Love is love is love.
And you know what? When I
Sad.
first saw the swamp clothes, I was kind of objecting to it. I was like, who the hell's with that in the swamp? But
Yeah.
you know what? It makes total sense.
It does, right?
It looks airy. It absorbs the moisture.
It keeps the
It's wicked.
mosquitoes away.
Keeps the mosquitoes away. Because you get what you got in Louisiana swamps.
Mosquitoes.
You know how, like, when you watch Jurassic Park, like, if you don't move, the T-Rex can't see you. Well, if you're wearing an ascot in a swamp, alligators can't see you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That is
Yeah.
absolutely
Hey,
Nobody knew that.
It makes sense.
scientifically proven.
It's a life-saving safety. Dude,
Yes.
it's
Ascots.
teaching you. It's educational. Ascots.
Ascots.
It's educational as it's fun.
I hope it's a green
Ascots,
ascot.
alligators.
And you know, and look, you would
It's
think
not asinine,
you would
it's
think,
just an ascot.
what was the grand finale of Splash Mountain? The big riverboat, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You would think a ride based in New Orleans or the swamp, whatever. You have a riverboat. No, let's take the riverboat out, Brett, and we're gonna put Tiana's Palace. So the big finale is that watching all of them come to Tiana's Palace and say, "Hey, enjoy my gumbo."
Don't you want some place
Enjoy
to
my
eat
beignets.
after you get dropped from somewhere? Don't you
always
want a
need
place to eat?
Place to eat.
Yeah.
Give me some of that quinoa gumbo, man.
Oh, quinoa kale
my head's,
gumbo.
my head's starting to hurt.
You just
Okay,
said
we
that.
stopped
You
there.
realize that, Kirk. You
What's
just said quinoa gumbo.
I know my head's starting to hurt.
Gumbo.
I know. You just offended a ton of people.
Y'all make me stop.
Do you need to
My
lie
head
down?
hurt.
You can't be
You want
stopped.
to lie
Freight car, freight car.
You can't be stopped.
Put your head between your legs and breathe.
You can't be
Okay.
stopped.
You need a paper bag,
Stop.
brown paper bag.
I didn't realize Bob Iger's decision had affected you this much.
Wow,
I mean,
Kurt.
I
That is
really,
intense. He needed this.
Thank you. I learned something today.
It's like me, myself, and Irene, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Okay, here comes Irene then. Remember you talking about the concept art to what we're getting, and I just recently saw the concept art again because I hadn't seen it in a while. Man, that's disappointing.
Mm.
With
Yeah.
that big Mama Otis house on top and
Yep.
everything, and it looked good.
But Kirk, you
Well,
got to
it's-
give it 5 to 10 years and let it develop. Have you not been
You are
listening to
right.
what the president of the company is telling you? It's not about what's happening now. It's about what's happening later. Now let's go shopping.
You know what's the
See how
gauge?
that
Of,
works?
you know what's the
Later.
gauge of a good attraction?
What's that?
How much merch and how much plushies it sells. This thing is going to be like plushies.
Gangbusters.
This thing is going to sell so many plushies
Yeah.
because it's in the co-op. The critter co-op. Do you see that critter co-op, right?
I didn't-
And you know what that means?
My brother,
It means
I didn't know.
everybody owns a piece.
Everybody saves.
Everybody owns a piece.
You
Man,
save.
it's
I
like-
save.
It's progressive and it's fun.
And socialist.
It's a win-win.
As is the culture.
All at the same time.
As is the culture.
We all save.
The vein in Kirk's head is
I
throbbing.
know.
Can we
Is it
move
now?
on?
Yes, we'll move on.
Yes.
All right. So look,
Let's move on.
I had to end the show with this one, and I'm very glad that Michael Nathanson decided to ask this question before they moved on to their streaming discussion. Iger has already responded about how not worried he is about Epic Universe, but let's actually hear it from his own mouth. So here we go.
So before I leave parks, I'd be remiss not to ask you about competition that's coming in Orlando as Universal rolls out your new park. We saw a video of it yesterday. Brian was here to show it. What do you think the impact's going to be to Disney? And what attractions will we be adding to potentially compete with that?
Well, first of all, if you look at the last 6 or 7 years, we've opened up a lot in Orlando, including, gigantic, we call it Galaxy's Edge, which is Star Wars land with 2 e-ticket attractions.
Wait,
also
did he say Star Wars Land?
Yes, he did.
One more. Just one more.
Star Wars.
Star Wars Land.
Star Wars Land.
Singular
Because
word.
it's only one place.
Mm-hmm.
One more.
It's singular.
You know that's Darth well. With Darth Vader.
We call it Galaxy's Edge, which is Star Wars land with 2 e-ticket attractions, which has also been enormously successful. Is a relatively new Guardians of the Galaxy coaster in Epcot. There's a Tron attraction, which is enormously successful in Shanghai.
In Shanghai.
Yes. I know.
Just in Shanghai.
I think he gets a $10,000 every time he says the word Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Yes.
Yes.
They must give him a
He's been
bonus.
there 50 times. So, I mean,
In one morning, he gets free set of steak knives.
I was gonna say they gave him a cake.
The man's looking out for his fan base, Brad. Leave him alone.
Okay.
He likes Shanghai.
Shanghai!
Successful in Shanghai. If you go back, I mentioned Avatar as a for instance. So we've been investing aggressively there, and there'll be continued investment. We haven't announced specifics yet, but we're looking at a few of those parks to place some pretty big bets on. As we've seen in the past, when Universal's expanded, it does bring more visitation to Orlando. That's fine. We've had competition from them for a long time. I'm mindful of what they're doing, but I'm confident. I like our hand. I'm confident in what we built, and I'm confident what we'll continue to build. It's not something that should be distracting to us or anxiety provoking. We should just continue on the path that we've been on, which is mine the great IP, deliver continued growth for that business, seek double-digit returns on invested capital.
Yeah, so he's not worried, man. Universal is just catching up. There's no cause for worry or anxiety. We will keep to our plan and keep moving forward. But Bob, Universal back at the end of January 2024 said this.
Epic Universe represents a tremendous addition, almost doubling the size of Universal Orlando Resort. This gives us the opportunity to bring people to Universal Orlando for an entire week of the most incredible experiences they can imagine.
And with how expensive things are right now versus what the average American takes home, there will be decisions that have to be made of where we'll be spending our discretionary income, provided that we have any. So, what the hell? Well, you're not worried? I mean, I feel like this is I don't know if you remember during the Olympics when Michael Phelps was there. There was a meme where Michael Phelps was swimming and he was facing forward, and then his competitor right next to him was looking at Michael Phelps. And the whole meme was like, winners focus on the goal and not anybody else. I can't help but think that he thinks that he's Michael Phelps, and Universal's looking at them trying to hopefully catch up and get the goal and be the winner. But I feel like if we're using that metaphor with that meme, it's Michael Phelps and the competitor both looking at the end goal and not worrying about what the other's doing. They're just going to do it. Because, like I said, Celestial Park is not based on any IP, and that's probably the biggest area that the Epic Universe has versus the worlds that they have. And they're shooting for that and hoping that it works. And like I said, I'm more excited about that whole area with no IP than anything else that's coming along. So this is just insane.
I just see him on a battleship somewhere with a big banner behind him that says "Mission Accomplished." Yeah, as he says these words,
we won.
They're opening a park that is probably going to be the biggest park in America, right?
Mm-hmm. It's epic.
It's epic. Yes. Yeah, it's absolutely epic. I mean, the IP that they're dealing with has never been seen before. This is nothing that's been regurgitated and fed. Well, maybe Harry Potter, but if he thinks that Avatar Land or Galaxy's Edge, which is nowhere even near close to what any of us ever imagined as a Star Wars experience, it's boring. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. It's dull. I mean, except for Rise of the Resistance, this is not the Star Wars experience I'm looking for. That's what I would say to that. Toy Story Land is a joke. Avatar Land is so popular again that they have to shut it down at 6. I don't know where he's coming from with this because we're all cash strapped, Bob. None of us have any money. My wife and I do fairly well. I think Eli would attest to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
We used to make it a point of going to Disney at least once, sometimes twice a year, deluxe hotel, 7 days. That is a distant memory. We just can't afford it anymore. Mm-hmm. The idea that they'll come to Universal, they'll experience that, they'll experiencing, no, you're going to be forced to choose. And right now, anybody and everybody that I've talked to, and I could be wrong, they're not, hey, let's spend our money in 2024 and go see Tiana's Bayou Adventure in the summer. It's let's save our money till 2025 and see Epic Universe.
Yeah. It's pretty much like when Apollo was going to fight Drago and it was like, oh, I got this guy. Like, hey, we don't know nothing about this guy. I think we should step back and just, see how this looks. And yeah, if Bob just wants to be like, yeah, we're going to keep going on that old path. I mean, in a sense, you do have to run your own race, so to speak. But yeah, when these guys come, Epic that is, that's going to be a serious game changer. And if it's affordable, I mean, like, yeah, you guys, like you said, you guys are very careful with your money. And I make less than you, and it's just me. I mean, most I can do right now is probably just look out from the gate. I mean, at this point, again, everything in Shanghai is great. And I understand that. God bless Shanghai. Maybe we should move to Shanghai and everything. But I mean, right now we live here. And right now your competition is here in the U.S. You may as well just say, listen, I don't really care about the U.S. that much. We got property you didn't see from 20 years ago. It's still good, right? Come see it. Some of the stuff might be dropping off. But don't worry about these new guys that have showed up with this really cool, awesome stuff. We got plenty of things for you 5-10 years down the line. Or you could go to Shanghai right now. No faith. I have no faith in what this dude is saying. And maybe he had a little bit too much to drink while he's talking. Because it does sound like as this thing goes forward. You ever notice that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It sounds like he's kind of slurring a little bit.
Yeah, maybe he took too much Ambien or something that day.
Like
I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I mean, he talks about global brand. I mean, I know within this group was maybe Nintendo's not as big. I mean, Nintendo's really big for me, but I could tell you worldwide as far as a brand, Mario in and of himself, out of the Nintendo world is huge.
Oh yeah,
and 100%. Every place where they've opened a Mario has done really, really well. Even with merchandise, it's just simple merchandise because it's hard to find.
Oh yeah,
but the stuff. I mean, we did a whole show on the stuff that they're putting out just for the parks. With the self-walking toys and all kind of stuff.
And they're upcharging that stuff because they got to split the profits with Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so the thing that I think he fails to forget about Epic Universe is that the Nintendo world that's opening in Epic Universe is not the same as the one in Hollywood. The Hollywood is much smaller. He's got to remember that it's the same as the one in Japan, which is much bigger. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about a world of Nintendo of video games that people have played for a long, 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 long time. Mm-hmm. That's coming online and gonna make people choose. I mean, Universal said it. We want you to be here for a week. And that, to me, that says I have to choose where I spend my week, my vacation time, my money, my hard-earned dollars, everything else. To Danny's point, yes, totally, we are strapped.
Yes.
Yeah. Tiana's is not enough for me to invest in your experiences business. The cruise ship's not enough for me to invest in that kind of a thing.
No. Toy Story Land, no.
No.
Avatar Land, no.
No.
Galaxy's Edge, hell no. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, great ride.
Awesome.
But it's not like we're visiting a truly amazing world that we've always wanted to explore. It's friggin' Mickey and Minnie on a picnic. This is not next level. You go home and you're like, I can't wait to ride that again and experience that. And I want to see a movie about that. And I want to read a book about that. No. It's Ratatouille. Nice. Would have been nicer 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Trying's
nothing,
cool, but it's
nothing,
over.
Yeah. Nothing in comparison to Gringotts, Rise of Resistance. Kirk, have you taken your Ramipril? Are you able to speak now?
My what?
The blood pressure medication.
Oh yeah, I took it.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
A dopamine.
You want my perspective?
Yes.
Please.
Do you?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
I don't want to send you over the edge again.
You turned it purple
Actually,
now.
I
just for the
kind of do,
record.
because I feel like you're going to
Was that to what?
be positive, Kirk.
Donkey Kong, Mario, Zelda, Tiana in a swamp, bro. Come on, man. Y'all can't tell me we are Disney. You're gonna come here no matter what. We have had our hooks in you, and since you was in the womb, bro. Your mama was sitting there playing Snow White for you, and you heard that in the womb like that. And you know
Like
that
how?
we have with the fluid around your ears and stuff.
Oh, that's right.
We have had our hooks in you for years, not because we have quality entertainment, because it's been played over and over and over and over for you. You will come back. Yeah, you can go play with the little kids down the street. That's fine. But you're going to come back to where your home is. You know this, because you know what? Where does your heart reside? It resides at Disney. When you look at that castle, do you not shed a tear? I know I do.
Mm-hmm.
We all shed them tears.
Yeah.
That's what will bring you back.
I shed a
Because
tear.
you cannot go to Florida. How many times can you go to Florida or California and say, I'm going to Disney World or Disneyland? Plenty of times. How many times can you say I'm going to Orlando or Florida or California? That's the places. And I'm just going to Universal. You can't say that, because you're going to go to Disney. Even if it's for one day, you're going to dip that toe in the Disney goodness.
Little bit of
'Cause
toe.
you love it.
So what you're saying is that love will turn you around.
Love will turn you around. Turn you around. Come on, man. We're going beyond Big Thunder.
Beyond
When?
Beyonce.
About 10 years from now. But we're going beyond
5
Big
to
Thunder.
10. Always 5 to 10. A nickel to a
I
dime.
might be dead by then.
Kirk, email just came in. Bob Iger is looking to hire you as his public relations
See that? That's it.
And the
He ain't got
Canadian-
to. You
Yes.
know what? But if Bob won't throw some money my way, I ain't going to say no.
No,
You
But
can't say
look,
no.
I will do this for free because I have been uncuckated with the Disney goodness.
You've been cuckolded with what?
Exactly. That's what I said. I got all the Disney magic. Where's
Oh,
the magic? It's in here, bro.
All right,
It's like
bro.
Barack Obama's
Bruh.
angry
I got the
interpreter.
magic in me.
Yeah, it's deep inside. About
Yeah.
13
Look,
inches.
when I round that curve in Main Street, I see that castle.
Oh,
He's wiping a tear, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
getting the tears going. They're
Yeah.
flowing.
you know that's fair. But I mean, Epic's gonna have fireworks.
And did you know that at
Do you think-
Tiana's Bayou
Adventure.
Adventure.
Yes.
they're gonna pipe in the beignet smells? I'm sorry, they're gonna be making fresh beignets over there. Can't eat them, but they're gonna be making them.
No, I'll be in the corner, like huddled, just like make it stop.
That'll traumatize us. I think.
You
Me
think
and Kevin, I
you
it'll
think it's
traumatize
Cafe Du Monde
us.
used to work there? No,
Yeah.
no, bro. It's Tiana's beignets.
It's Tiana's big.
You know
yes.
you want
It's
Tiana's
powdered
beignets.
sugar and honey.
You do know that the beignets over at Tiana's Bayou Adventure are made with cauliflower crust, right?
and kale.
It doesn't matter. It's going to taste awesome, just like kale gumbo, bro. But you know what? It doesn't matter. If you bougie American
It's healthy.
elites don't like it,
Yes.
I got Shanghai. What,
Shanghai.
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 That's where my money's coming from.
Yeah, Shang-Chi.
Judging by the vein in Kirk's forehead,
Again?
Kevin, I
Come
think
on, man.
it's
I'm sorry.
probably about that time.
Yes. So look, that was our discussion about the parks related stuff in the Q&A that Iger did.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any final thoughts? Not from Kirk. Are there any final thoughts that we want to end with this here? It's about just everything's going up. Do we get everything on the table in our reaction to Bob?
I think so. I mean, I don't like that politic.
Is
man.
he just the worst ever or what?
Yeah.
History will tell, but it's like I'm not too confident.
What?
Look, man, we this is the podcast in which we honor every opinion. We love to hear it. If there's things you disagree with us, we want to hear it. We want to have a good discussion about this. I will post stuff about this in the group. It's all for public consumption on their website. So I'd love to hear you guys' opinions on all the stuff that we've talked about. And I want you to get in touch with us. We're about to tell you how to do that in just a little bit. Well, y'all, we hope you enjoy that episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. And look, magicourway.com is the way to go. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. Also, you can get in touch with us to share any of your opinions in the following ways. First of all, shoot us an email at show@magicourway.com or call or send us a text message. It did say text us at 1-815-MO-WEEKEND. That is 1-815-
Mo Weekend.
669-4226. And yes, sir, folks, that was a real Bob Iger responding. It was not Michael Douglas or anybody from the Wolf of Wall Street, as we've been known to do in the past. Those are his exact words. And yes, we really want to hear some honest dialogue with you guys. What did we miss? What did we hit right? What are some things we didn't consider that were all maybe supportive points or go against the points? Please get in touch with us, because I really, as consumers, I feel like we need to band together and just kind of talk about this stuff, because that's where we're looking at for the next few years.
Yes.
Especially while he's in office. So definitely do that. But anyway, look, there's a couple of people do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli does some comics. Eli, what's up?
Yeah. When you out there on the internet, you can always visit ivorycomics.com. There you'll see the work I create, Savages, Project Geisha, and of course, the Molly Be Damned. And there's always a link to this podcast so you never miss a beat, you never miss an episode, trip report, or people blowing up. You get all that goodness in there. There's blogs and interviews and all that good stuff right there. ivorycomics.com. The people have given me the support. Thank you. Those who have not, come on back round, pick up a book. You'll love it. On social media, you can find me, Facebook, Eli H. Ivory. As long as you're in person, it's lovely to meet you. But if you are a bot, I do not need to greet you. I'm not trying to have you take my PIN numbers and try to order some chicken and pizza and stuff like that, because you're trying to be somebody that you're not and want me to friend you. I ain't got no money like that. I just said that on the show. I'm trying to get some yen. I ain't got no yang to give away.
Dude, I'm trying to find a secondary source of income. Okay?
Yeah.
There's OnlyFans.
What? Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you was doing that.
He's doing OnlyFans? Kirk has OnlyFans.
All right.
I was botting Eli. We're trying to get money out
trying to get money out of me.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay. Well, now I know.
You should have taken advantage of WPG when you had the chance.
I did not know.
Yeah.
I did not know that all this was after me. Yes. Yes, Lord. P. Also, when you go out to Facebook, you can check out the Project Geisha fan page. Hey, that's based in Japan. Bob Iger would like that, wouldn't he? Also, when you go to Instagram, you can find me right there, posting up the hearts and likes, EIV504. And of course, on X, I can be found at Head Cocktail 166. So, yes, if you appreciate the madness, you're just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much.
And if you want to book a vacation to one of the overseas parks, because obviously that's where they're spending their money, Rachel can book an overseas Disney trip for you. Rachel is going to tell you how to do that in just a little bit.
This is Rachel, one of the hosts of the Magic Our Way podcast. I would be honored to help your family book your vacation to Disney destinations, Universal, cruise lines, and major hotel brands around the world. Booking with me is at no extra cost to you. The cost of a travel agent is built into the cost of your vacation, whether you use one or not. And when you book with me, a little bit of your trip comes back to support the podcast and the fan community here at Magic Our Way. You can reach me at Rachel, Rachel, at magicourway.com. Or you can find me at R, the letter R, Family Magic. So Our Family Magic on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also give me a call or a text. My phone number is 978-432-WISH. Reach out today and let's make some magic with your family vacation.
And of course, I have to thank the invaluable Captain Cajun Chavez, Quartermaster, Halfmaster, Bassmaster, Kirk, for coming up the bayou.
You brought Quartermaster in that. That brings back memories.
I remember he used to be Quartermaster in that podcast.
Quartermaster, Bedwetter, all those.
Half-master. Thanks for coming.
Yes,
man.
yes.
Oh, and being in studio, hanging with us.
And hey, look. If anything, if I'm needed, you can reach me at 672-872 Cajun, whatever the hell Rachel said.
What?
I don't know. I was trying to remember her phone number to repeat it, but I couldn't.
978-432-WISH.
973-432 Cajun, and call me Rachel Robert.
Yeah.
You know, Animal Kingdom really is the worst park.
Oh, God.
She thought I was going somewhere else.
She's not even here to defend herself.
All right.
She ain't even here to defend herself. She can hit me back next episode. It might not be here. It might be here.
This is Rachel, one of the hosts of the Magic Our Way podcast.
So look, y'all, if you want to access all the info we just mentioned, go to magicourway.com/about us. Also, if you want to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast, just like Kirk, go to patreon.com/magicourway.
Do I still do that?
I think you do.
Okay.
Well, thank you for your last payment.
Yay. Okay. Look, it's all good.
It's nice. Look, there you'll find 6 awesome tiers to support this show, and any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. The easiest way to support us, and it only costs a minute or so of your time, is to leave a rating and review in Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show, whether it is YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, etc. And we want to thank you for being a loyal listener. I always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions, and I mean all opinions, are always welcome in the Magic Hour podcast forever and ever. So make sure you get in touch with us today. So we say Kwaherini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
And you are. Bye!